Sometimes we almost require God's intervention to be as big as the gravity of the situation before us for us to kind of believe that this is a miracle. Someone has died. We need God to raise him back from the dead in order for this to be a miracle. That's not how God works. God intervenes in small ways. God intervenes in ways that you'll be able to understand and to identify, so that you may almost cumulatively know that this was a miracle. The stroke was a miracle. Him carrying me from the beginning throughout to where I am now is a miracle. Being able to function, being able to share my testimony with you is a miracle. And I'm so appreciative for this miracle. So is what you're going through a miracle? I can't say. You can. But if you have that thought, if it pops to mind, it probably is. Ciao guys, it's been a while since I last released a video. A lot of people have been asking how I am, how I'm doing. Everything's going great on my side. I am very blessed, feeling very strong. I'll talk about that later on in this video. The reason I took so long to, the video you're about to see has been in post-production after filming for a very long time. I think I filmed it maybe about 2-3 weeks back. And I've kind of just been sitting on it and being like, should I release this video? It's a very positive video, but the reason I was hesitant is because we're going through a very difficult time right now. A lot of friends and family have had real struggles. Many of us have lost family or friends. Many of us have had a very difficult time recently. So I didn't think it would be appropriate for me to kind of post this positive video when a lot of you are going through a lot of pain. That being said, I sat and I prayed about it, and I was like, Lord, do you want me to release this video? Do you want me to release it in its current form? And as I said, after that discernment process, after that prayer process, I kind of came to the conclusion that it's not up to me to determine whether the video should be released or not. I should just release. I don't make these videos for myself to say, okay, God's going to work through this or not. I make these videos for God to work through them. It's not up to me to determine where and when God works and how he will work. I just make these videos for him to do the rest, really. You're about to see that video. I talk about miracles. I talk about obviously the miracle of my stroke. I also talk about the cumulative effects of small miracles. I didn't talk about the incredible power of a wonderful big miracle though. That doesn't mean that I disrespect or disregard those miracles. Those have such wonderful life-giving stories to tell. At the end of this video, I talk about your stories, and I talk about the wonderful way that God's working in your lives, and I want to hear that. I want to share that with the greater community. I either want to make a video where I just basically relay the news, or hopefully I'll be in contact with you guys directly and see if maybe I can compile a bunch of your small videos with you sharing your wonderful testimony. I think that would be absolutely incredible. So without further ado, let's get back to the normal video. My name is Marcojohnmanzella, and welcome to the I Am Catholic YouTube channel. Welcome to I Am Catholic Project. So obviously we're going to be talking about the miracle of my stroke. Before I get going though, I do want to say, is a stroke in itself a miracle? I don't think so. Strokes are obviously causing a lot of pain and a lot of suffering for millions of people worldwide. And it isn't a pleasant event to go through, let me tell you. It's not exactly the most amazing experience that you're ever going to have. But the whole event is, it's about together. God doesn't look in our short time period. God doesn't look at our small event. God doesn't look at a single stroke. I think that God works in the span of our whole lives. So in the span of my whole life, the whole event surrounding the stroke, do I think it was a miracle? I mean, the only response that I have is without a doubt. It was definitely not an easy period. It was very kind of difficult to get through at first, kind of difficult to process. I mentioned that in my previous video, especially more so for my family than it was for me, more so for my friends than it was for me. But the incredible thing that just lends me to believe that this was a miracle has got to be everything surrounding it. While I was having the stroke, while leading up to the stroke and in my period in hospital, I never experienced any pain. I wasn't exactly on cloud number 9. This wasn't an easy moment. But for the most part, it wasn't a painful experience for me. And I'm very, very blessed to be able to say that. And truly, the only reason I am able to say that is because I think that Jesus carried that pain for me. I think that Jesus carried my pain on that cross for me. And I think that he's doing the same for you in your everyday life. Without a doubt, this could have gone so much worse. I said it could have gone so much worse, but it didn't. And the only way I can think, the only rational connection I can make to make that determination was that the event as a whole was miraculous. God intervened in my life in such a deeply personal and profound way. He took away my pain. He took away my suffering. And he carried that for me in the midst of the most painful and suffering-inducing moments of my young life. And for that, the only thing I can say is I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful. I have to look at the stroke from start to the end. I'm still not at the end of it. I can't just look at that one event and kind of rate God's performance. I'm rating God's performance. I can't regard that small event as a miracle or suffering. I can't regard that as punishment that God's giving me. But time and time again since that event, God has just shown me more and more how miraculous this truly was. In a variety of ways, in a number of ways. And you can take your pick of which one you think is most special and most relevant for your own life. The lead up, as I mentioned, the lead up to it, I didn't think that I was anywhere close to possibly having a stroke. Ever since then, it's still very difficult for me to like process and be like, okay, yeah, you actually did have a stroke. This is scientifically proven. It's still very, very difficult for me to comprehend. The people that surrounded me in the hospital, I was truly supported by incredible nursing staff, really supportive doctors. The only way I can really say it is that I was surrounded by God's angels in that hospital. It's a hospital that I shouldn't have been in, but I ended up there. And I truly think that it was a miracle that I ended up there. The community that surrounded me, the miracle of community, the people that were praying for me, the people that contributed to my healing through their prayers. How often have you got a WhatsApp message, probably on that WhatsApp group, that you see all of them praying hands and you're like, I'm not gonna listen to this. I'm not gonna pray for that intention. I'm over all of that. It's very selfish from me. That's the reality of my situation often. But if that was what everyone who was praying for me did, I wouldn't be here today. If everyone that saw that intention on that WhatsApp group and I was the person that they were supposed to pray for and ignored it just the same way that I've done before, I don't know if I'd be here today. Talk about my recovery. I've been running already. I have, as I mentioned last time, I've been for a walk as often as I can. I'm in the most special place in my life in terms of my education. I'm trying to complete my master's degree in law. And 2 days ago, I submitted my research report, which is the biggest single project that I have ever done. And I only managed to start working on that after I had the stroke. The fact that I get to wake up every day, I mean, it's so cliched. But every day for me, I genuinely get to be here and be like, I am still here. This is a miracle. It's so cliched, I'm sorry, but every day is a miracle, this wonderful, wonderful miracle of life. There has just been so many different things that God has just carried me through. So many different small things that God has just picked me up and walked me through. Footprints in the sand. Lord, Lord, where were you? And then I turned back and I looked and there was only one set of footprints, and that was Jesus carrying me. Where's Jesus carrying you in your life? We tend to disregard the small events. We tend to almost belittle them. If something incredible happens to us, we're like, okay, maybe I got lucky, or this wasn't God's intervention. This was just a coincidence. If you believe that what you've been through has been a coincidence, I don't. I only really believe in God incidents. One of the ways that we're able to identify a miracle, at least presently, is the way that community surrounds that miracle. The way that I had the stroke and everyone just surrounded me. Everyone just came in and started praying for me. It was just absolutely blew my mind. Miracles pull communities together And then communities are able to go and share the testimony of this miracle. That's what brings me to the last part of this video. I want your testimony. I want you to share your testimony. I want you to be brave enough to share your story, whatever it may be. If it was a stroke, I talked to a wonderful young lady who also suffered a stroke recently, and just her positivity and her joy was just so incredible to see. If that is your testimony, please share it with me. If your testimony is a death in the family that brought your community together, if your miracle was you getting engaged or having a secret wedding that will bring joy and light to a lot of other people right now, I want you to share that with me, so that I can share that with everyone else. Or if you want to cut out the middleman, just share that. Be brave enough to take that step and to share it. Whatever the miracle, the testimony is, whatever special event that has happened in your life, please can you email me? The email address is iamcatholicproject@gmail.com. It's going to be on the screen, and it'll also be in the description below. If you're new to this channel, please can you consider subscribing? I'm trying to do my best to bring joy and positivity to the rest of the world, but this channel was made for young people so that they may find identity in their Catholicism and pride in being young and Catholic. And just how incredible that in itself is, how miraculous that in itself is. So if you know a young person that's going through a difficult moment right now, please can you share this with them? The story and the miracle of my stroke is not done. The story and the miracles in your lives are not done either. Just be patient, respond to God's intervention so that you may identify this miracle for those around you, and then be brave enough to share it. We need to be brave enough to share these miracles because people need to hear your story. People need to see how incredible God is working in their lives, how incredible God is working in your life, so that it will maybe open up a door for Him to work in theirs too. Be brave. That is my prayer for you. Look after yourselves in this difficult period. My name is Marcojohnmanzella. I am Catholic and I'm proud of it. I hope that you are too. Ciao guys, I'll see you soon.